జూమ్ యాప్ గురించి మీకు ఏదైనా ఐడియా ఉందా? ఏంటి ఇదే వస్తుంది తప్ప ఏం రావడం లేదు అసలు.
Good morning, one and all. Good morning, one and all. Myself, G.
Morning.
Myself, G. Nagaraju. On behalf of this program team, welcome you all to AICT sponsored a one-week national level online short-term training program on innovative teaching and learning methods for inspiring students from 12th to 17th October 2020, organized by ECE Department, SRKR Engineering College, Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh, India. It is a great pleasure and honor to welcome today's keynote speaker and chief guest of today's function, Professor R. Natarajan Garu. And it is a great pleasure to welcome today's resource person, Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu. I also feel honored to invite Sri S.V. Rangaraju Garu, Secretary and Correspondent of SRKR Engineering College and management members of SRKR Engineering College Association. Dr. M. Jagpati Raju Garu, Principal of SRKR Engineering College. Dr. BVSSN Raju Garu, HOD of ECE, Dr. PV Ramaraju Garu, Professor Chief Coordinator for this program, heads of different departments, deans, and all the participants to this inaugural function. Teaching and learning through listening is one of the core functions of higher education institutions. Apart from generating new knowledge, engineering and technology institutions have the responsibility of developing technologies useful for mankind. The program focused on innovative teaching and learning methods to inspire students. The objective of this program was to introduce the participants to the world of innovative teaching and give an insight into how and where it can be used. This program proved to be an eye-opening session for beginner and middle-level teachers, and also aimed at imparting the skills required to handle students that are useful during the entire process of teaching. This program intended to orient students towards creating their own teaching plans, to enrich the knowledge of faculties through interaction with eminent personalities from academics. The knowledge sharing will improve the teaching learning process and benefit the society. The sessions are handled by professors from reputed institutions. The program is registered by nearly 300 participants belonging different disciplines like engineering, science, maths and humanity, etc. The participants include academicians and research scholars. We have participants from all states of India and two from Indonesia. I thank all the participants for your interest in joining this program. Now, I request our principal sir, Dr. M. Jagapati Raju Garu, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, principal sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hearing, sir.
Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
I am Dr. M. Jagapati Raju, Principal of SRKR Engineering College, Bhimavaram. So, Dr. R. Natarajan Garu, former Director, IIT Chennai, and former ACT Chairman. Sir, we are very happy and very pleasure of again you are coming to our college in this occasion. Actually, you came to our college in the year of 2003. The date was 10/3/2003. That time, you have given an excellent speech, sir. You have motivated. That time we were young staff members actually. Where we as well as the students were totally motivated. And your speech is one among the best speeches of our SRKR Engineering College. So once again, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, sir. HOD of ECE, Sunyaran Rajgaru, Dr. PV Ramaraju Garu, coordinator and his team, faculty of SRKR Engineering College, deans, HODs and others. So it gives me, as already mentioned, a great personality. Today he came to address about NEP. That is also very important topic. Recently, the government of India has announced new education policy. So definitely that will be very useful for the participants also. So I don't take much time. The reason for that is, if I speak 1 minute also, that will be that will be waste for the participants, because an eminent speaker is in front of us. Just few points only I will mention about our SRKR Engineering College. So SRKR Engineering College was started 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Now we are celebrating 40 years academic excellency. Because of the guidelines of AICTE, they asked the colleges to start emerging technologies. So keeping that in view, This year we got artificial intelligence and data science. That is one, and the other one is computer science and business system. So our college was accredited, is accredited by NAC, having CGP of 3.6 on 4 scale. Recently, we went for NBA accreditation, all the 6 branches. So all the 6 branches were accredited by NBA in the month of March. And our college is recognized as Science and Industrial Research Organization by Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. So recently, ARIA 2020 ranking was announced. So in that ranking, we got band A, that is in between 6th to 25th in the entire country, under private self-financed institution category by MHRD Innovation Cell, Ministry of Education, Government of India. And at the same time, recently, Smart India AICT Smart India Hackathon was conducted, and there our students got the first prize in the entire nation in Ministry of Textile problem statement and 1 lakh rupee prize money. So our college is under the Unnata Bharat Abhiyan program. So under this also, we have adopted 5 villages. In these 5 villages, 78 institutions were selected by the MHRD, and they have given perennial award of 1.75 lakhs. 75 lakhs was also awarded for that. Recently, institutions ranking was given. So they have given 4 categories. So they have given 10 top private engineering colleges in AP. Among that, our college stood 2nd rank. And similarly, in research category also, our college stood 2nd rank. And in placements, our college stood 4th rank. And in overall infrastructure, our college stood for the 4th rank. Similarly, so career 360 ranking was also announced. There we got AAA plus ranking. And at present, in our college, ongoing projects worth are 4.5 crores. Sir. Total project may be more than 10 crores, but these 4.05 crores research projects are going on. So here we got a DBT Spring project, 146.40 lakhs. DST Mission India Smart Grids, 71.78. Similarly, DST, AICTE Marketation project we are having, AICTE's Samriddhi scheme we are having, AICTE SPDP program we are having, AICTE Modrops we are having, AICTE FDP we are having, AICTE GOC we are having, AICTE Prerana we are having, DST ED2 Entrepreneurship Awareness Camp, this is also we are having. And our college is recognized as Business Incubation Center by MSME. The alumni and students started 15 startups in the campus, 2 startups of rupees 16 lakh funding from Agile investors, and 9 startups received AICT funding of 15.90 lakhs. So recently we have, even during the pandemic situation also, we have conducted various FDPs under various schemes. Department of Mathematics conducted international FDP, and CSC department conducted 5 online FDPs and also one online workshop. And recently, October 2nd, on the eve of Terajagi birthday, we started the student chapter, ISC student chapter. And recently we have conducted AICTE sponsored national e-conference that we are going to conduct on 26th and 27th of October. Similarly, today, ECE department is conducting, and we are quite fortunate. We have started with a great person, Dr. R. Natarajan. So thank you very much for visiting in this mode, sir, in the online mode. And definitely, whatever you will give, speech by a new educational policy, that will be very benefit for all of us. So I request all the participants to actually participate in the coming 5 or 6 days also, and try to enhance your knowledge. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for your good wishes. I wish to extend my deep appreciation to the management, SRKR Engineering College, Bhimavaram, for supporting. I thank the resource persons for accepting the invitation for this program. My special thanks go also to our team for this program. Why I cannot mention each and every by name here. I hope that they will take this as a personal thank you. We shall soon begin our keynote address session on NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020. Before we begin the session, I would like to announce few guidelines to the participants. E-certificates will be provided to those participants only who attend all the program sessions with more than 80% of attendance and provide feedback link. Please mute your mic and video while the speaker is presenting. Use hand raise feature and unmute your mic only when your name is called for a question. If you have any questions, post them in the chat box. Now I invite Mr. James Vijay to introduce the chief guest of today's function, Professor R. Natarajan Garu.
Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, James Vijay from SRKR Engineering College. It's a privilege and honor for me to introduce the speaker of keynote address, Professor Ramamurthy Natarajan sir, an eminent speaker and a resource person who has been mentor to many educational institutions. He had held the office of chairman for AICTE, the All India Council for Technical Education, during 2001 to 2004. He was the former director of the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, during 1995 to 2001. He was also the former professor of mechanical engineering at IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, from 1973 to the year 2000. He had received PhD from University of Waterloo, Canada in the year 1970. He has done Masters in Applied Science in University of Waterloo, Canada in the year 1965. He also holds Masters in Mechanical Engineering from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, being graduated from the University College of Engineering, Bangalore. His major professional accomplishments: in his illustrious career of over 5 decades, he made stellar contributions in research and teaching in the areas of combustion, pollution, energy, and environment. He brought in significant reforms in technical education and improved quality of education through various measures. He was also the chairman of Research Council of the CSIR, the Central Fuel Research Institute at Dhanbad, from 1995 to 2005. He chairs the board of IT Education Standards of Karnataka. He is also the member of the editorial boards of Fuel London, ASW, Journal of Engineering Education, and several other journals of high repute. Some of his awards and major professional recognitions: he has been conferred several awards and honors, including Dr. Homi J. Baba Award by the Indian Science Congress 2002. And he was also awarded gold medal by System Society of India in the year 2002. He was bestowed Outstanding Contribution Award for Quality in Education by the Quality Circle Forum of India. Professor Ramamurthy Natarajan sir was conferred the Eminent Engineer Award by the Institution of Engineers, India. He was also conferred honorary doctorate by the University of South Australia, Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, Kanpur University, Nagarjuna University, Purvanchal University in UP, and NIT Agartala. Sir, it's a privilege and a deep honor to have you with us to acquire knowledge on the National Educational Policy 2020. In this context, on behalf of the delegates, organizing team, and the participants, with due respect, I would like to invite Professor Ramamurthy Natarajan sir to deliver the keynote address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to all the faculty members and the of your college plus the other colleges, and maybe there are some students also. Hearty welcome to you all. Particularly grateful to Professor Jagapati Raju, the principal of this institution. And also I would like to mention the name of another person who helped to coordinate this program from my side, and that is Dr. Prasad Raju, who retired as in a high position from the Department of Science and Technology. The topic that you have chosen for your AICTE sponsored program, it's an excellent topic, highly relevant in terms of teaching and learning. Teaching is important for teachers, learning is important for students, and there is yet another feature which is extremely important, and that is assessment. These three together constitute the three pillars or whatever of a higher education system. One question that props up in our mind all the time for teachers is, yes, I have taught my course, and I think to the best of my ability, but have the students learned? So every time you teach a course, you have to ask yourself, I have taught, but have the students learned, which is the purpose of an educational institution. The National Education Policy 2020 was recently announced, and it has gathered a lot of momentum now. AICTE has been organizing a number of brainstorming sessions and workshops to look at the implementation issues of this policy. Next slide, please. Next. Do I have control? No, I don't. Nagaraju, advance this slide or give me control. Hello? Nagaraju? Yes. You're going to control the sequence of slides? Can you confirm?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, I will mention when I need this slide to be. Now, this education policy has a vision. It envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high-quality education to all. That is the major purpose of this policy. Next. 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 Now, there are several steps in forming this, in announcing this policy over the years. Next slide. This is the evolution of the education policy. The University Education Commission in 1948-49 submitted a report which forms the basis for all subsequent policies. The Secondary Education Commission next, and the Education Commission under D.S. Kothari, which is quite famous for making a number of important recommendations. In 1968, the National Policy on Education was announced after a great deal of discussions and consultations among the faculty of different institutions. The year 1976 saw the inclusion of education in the concurrent list. Until that time, education was only in the state list. But in 76, the center also came into the picture, and education was included in the concurrent list. The National Policy on Education 1986 was a landmark set of recommendations. And it was modified slightly in 1992, and also the program of action was announced. Then, after about 3 decades, the TSR Subramaniam Committee submitted a report in 2016, including a number of features. And the latest one, the chairman of the committee is Dr. Kasturi Rangan, and which was announced in May 2019, and which is really what we are going to be discussing today. Next. There was a great deal of consultations made during because you have to convince people that what has been suggested as a policy will be beneficial to them. Only then will they participate in a wholehearted fashion. They had an online portal for receiving the recommendations or comments on the policy, draft policy. A number of gram panchayats, ULBs, urban local bodies, and districts were also consulted during May to October 2015. The draft NEP and the summary were published in 22 languages and also were made available in an audio book. A number of dialogues were made with the MPs, particularly from the states I have indicated here. A special meeting of CABE, Central Advisory Board on Education, was convened in September 2019. And the Parliamentary Standing Committee on HRD was briefed about the policy details again in November 2019. Next. The major reforms in higher education which have been proposed in this policy, I will highlight here, and I'll get into the details subsequently. One of the goals is 50% gross enrollment ratio by 2035. It is now about 20 to 25%. Holistic and multidisciplinary education and flexibility of subjects, multiple entry and exit options, a 3 or 4 year UG program, 1 or 2 year PG program, integrated 5-year bachelor's and master's programs, MPhil to be discontinued, credit transfer and academic bank of credits, and higher education institutions are classified into 3 types. One is research intensive, then teaching intensive universities and autonomous degree granting colleges. Teaching intensive universities, and thirdly, autonomous degree granting colleges. Proposed that a model multidisciplinary education and research university, acronym is MERU, to be started in or near every district. Therefore, every district will have multidisciplinary education and research university. Next. Major reforms that have been suggested are graded autonomy. Autonomy is of 3 types: academic autonomy, administrative autonomy, and financial autonomy. Phasing out of the affiliation system in 15 years. If you look at the structure of the higher education system we have, it is only about 20% of the institutions which are autonomous. All the rest are affiliated colleges. The proposal here is to completely phase out the affiliation system in about 15 years. A new mission, a national mission on mentoring, will be constituted. Each higher education institution will have an independent board of governors, a single regulator for higher education, excepting legal and medical. I'll look at some details later on. Online self-disclosure based transparent system for approvals, common norms for public and private higher education institutions, and public investment in the education sector to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest. At the moment, it is less than 2%. Next. Next. National Research Foundation, no, go back one. Yeah, a National Research Foundation to be constituted, internationalization of education, integration of vocational teacher and professional education, and a few other, we'll go to the details a little later on. One important thing here is the National Educational Technology Forum. You see, at the moment, we are participating in an online virtual mode workshop. These are new demands which have arisen because of the global pandemic. And educational technology and digital technology are going to be important tools for us to face the new challenges. And the last one I'm talking about here is MHRD to be renamed as the Ministry of Education. MHRD was Human Resource Development, and already it has been transformed into Ministry of Education, because education is the real essence of HRD. Next. There are some principles of this policy, and it is important to look at this slide and the next slide. They have defined the purpose of the education system: to develop good human beings capable of rational thought and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper and creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings and values. These are all the characteristics of an institution that they would want our country to have, all the institutions to have these characteristics. So it aims at producing engaged, productive, and contributing citizens for building an equitable, inclusive, and plural society as envisaged by our Constitution. You see, our Constitution has defined these characteristics, but in practice, all of them have not come into fruition. So this policy again reiterates that these are very important. Next. They also define what a good educational institution is. It is one in which every student feels welcomed and cared for, where a safe and stimulating learning environment exists, where a wide range of learning experiences are offered, student experiences, where good physical infrastructure and appropriate resources conducive to learning are available to all students. Attaining these qualities must be the goal of every educational institution. When you define your strategic intent, then this must be taken into consideration. However, at the same time, there must also be seamless integration and coordination across institutions and across all stages of education. Next. Now, the initial portions of this policy deal with primary education and secondary education and so on. Because all of us are interested in higher education, I will look specifically at higher education. Quality universities and colleges, a new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system, that is the goal. They look at, again, the Constitution, and Constitution, the aim, the objective is to develop students and institutions which are democratic, just, socially conscious, cultured, and humane nation upholding liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice for all. You see all the good things that a nation should become and the educational institutions in the nation should become. They are all part of the demands of the Constitution. They are all repeated here again, reiterated here again. As India moves towards becoming a knowledge economy and society, more and more young Indians are likely to aspire for higher education. Next. Next. They have also identified some of the major problems currently faced by the higher education system in India. I'm sure many of you have experienced, educational administrators have experienced these problems. The severely fragmented higher education system, less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes, and limited teacher and institutional autonomy. Next. Therefore, what are the key changes to the current system which need to be undertaken? There are several of these. Moving towards a higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges. At the moment, we have institutions which are as small as 3,000. The IITs were typically only 3,000 students strong. And at the moment, they are about 10,000 students strong, but because of both increase in capacity as well as the diversity of the programs offered. But here they're talking about large multidisciplinary universities. Large meaning about 20,000. I'll come to it a little later on. Moving towards a more multidisciplinary undergraduate education, moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy, and revamping the curriculum. Curriculum is what to teach, pedagogy is how to teach, and assessment, which is another important feature of higher education, and student support for enhanced student experiences. Next. This is a new one, establishment of a National Research Foundation to fund outstanding peer-reviewed research. Now, this is as a result of comparison with the National Science Foundation in the US. One of the important persons responsible for the formulation of this policy is Dr. Manjul Bhargava, who is a professor at the Princeton University. He spent about a year, took off time of about a year to come and help in the formulation of the policy. And you can see that some of his ideas been incorporated into this policy. One other feature, I'll talk about it later on. Governance of higher education institutions by highly qualified independent boards, and what they call a light but tight regulation by a single regulator for higher education. Again, the details will come in the next few slides. Increased access, equity, and inclusion. So these are important features, again, derived from the Constitution. And also, learning materials accessible and available to learners with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities. A great deal of importance is being laid. Next. Now, this is the first feature, important feature in higher education, transforming the regulatory system of higher education. So it is indicated in this policy that the regulation of higher education has been too heavy-handed for decades. Too much has been, yes, too much has been attempted to be regulated with too little effect. Heavy concentrations of power within a few bodies. This has been pointed out by several stakeholders. So they say that the regulatory system needs a complete overhaul. To address the above issues, the regulatory system will ensure that the distinct different functions of regulation, accreditation, funding, and academic standard setting will be performed by distinct independent and empowered bodies. And they want to eliminate the concentrations of power in a few of these bodies. To ensure that the four institutional structures carrying out these four essential functions work independently, they suggest the setting up of one umbrella institution, the Higher Education Commission of India, HECI. This will come into being very soon indeed. Next. Therefore, the first vertical of HECI will be the National Higher Education Regulatory Council. The function of regulation will be handled by this vertical. It will function as the common single point regulator for the higher education center, including teacher education, but excluding medical and legal education. And thus eliminating the duplication of regulatory efforts by multiple regulatory bodies. NHRC, they say, will be to regulate in a light but tight fast manner that a few important matters, particularly financial probity, good governance, and the full online and offline public self-disclosure of all finances, audits, etc., they will be regulated by this council. Any complaints of grievances, that is a grievance addressal part of this NHERC. Next. The primary mechanism they indicate to enable such regulation will be accreditation. It is wrong. And in the last part of this talk, when I give my comments about the policy, I will indicate why the two are different, and regulation precedes accreditation. And according to the policy document, accreditation is supposed to be the basis for regulation. It is not correct. The second vertical will be a meta-accrediting body, which is called the National Accreditation Council, NAC. And it will be based primarily on basic norms, etc. And it will be supervised and overseen by NAC, National Accreditation Council. It is not NAC. NAC has two A's, but this only has one A. And in all higher education institutions, they will come up with institutional development plans. Those of you who have participated in the TechWIP program, Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, you're first asked to formulate your IDP, what you want your institution to be at the end of the TechWIP period. And then also to achieve the highest level of accreditation over the next 15 years. At the moment, you know that in NBA, there are institutions which are accredited by 3 years, for 3 years and 5 years, and similarly for NAC. But ultimately, over the next 15 years, all the institutions must achieve the highest level of accreditation. And also, accreditation will become a binary process, yes or no, as per the existing global practice. Next. Next. The third vertical, we have looked at two verticals. The third vertical will be the Higher Education Grants Council, similar to the University Grants Commission. Next. The fourth vertical will be the General Education Council, which will frame expected learning outcomes for higher education programs. These are also referred to as graduate attributes. A national higher education qualification framework will be formulated by the GEC to be in sync with the already existing national skills qualification framework. The GEC will also set up facilitative norms for issues such as credit transfer, equivalence, etc. At the moment, this is done by the Association of Indian Universities. Next. We have a number of professional councils in India, starting from the Indian Council for Agricultural Research, Veterinary Council of India, National Council for Teacher Education, Council of Architecture, National Council for Vocational Education and Training, NCVET. And these will start to act as professional standard setting bodies. They will also play a very key role in the education system. As members of GEC, they would help in specifying the curriculum framework within which higher education institutions may prepare their own curricula, but they will have no regulatory role. At the moment, COA, for instance, has a regulatory role in deciding issues relating to architecture. But what is conceived in this new policy is that they will not have any regulatory role, but they will have a standard setting role. Next. Curbing commercialization of education. This has been a very important part of all our education policies. So a key priority of the regulatory system will be the curbing the commercialization of education. And all educational institutions will be held to similar standards of audit and disclosure and not for profit entity. Many educationists and educational leaders have made critical comments about this. However, according to our national policies, all educational institutions should be for not-for-profit. Any surpluses, that means excess of income over expenditure, will be reinvested in the educational sector. Next. I will make this presentation available to all the participants. Therefore, you'll see that I'm skipping a few of these things because there's not enough time to go through all of them. And an important consideration, again, is effective governance and leadership for higher education institutions. Let me point out that when TechWIP program was designed and implemented, first they talked about excellence in undergraduate education. Then on the second phase, we were concerned about postgraduate education as well as research. And then it's evident that although these are important considerations, for any institutions to attain excellence and become globally competitive, a very important consideration is effective governance and leadership for these institutions. And therefore, we came up with a TechWIP governance guide, a guide for good governance, and the institutions were also assessed on the basis of this governance. Therefore, it's an extremely important consideration. Next. Now let us come to professional education. Engineering, for example, is part of a professional education. And they highlighted the fact that professional education has an important interface with the public, the society. And what are important are the ethics and importance of public purpose, an education in the discipline, and an education for practice, academic considerations and practical considerations. It must centrally involve critical and interdisciplinary thinking, discussion, debate, and innovation. Therefore, their important recommendation is that professional education should not take place in the isolation of one specialty. For example, you're an engineering college, IITs are institutes of technology, and typically the professional education takes place in an institution which is isolated from the multiple disciplines outside engineering and technology. So the recommendation is that the professional education should become an integral part of the overall higher education system. Standalone agricultural universities, legal universities, health science universities technical universities and standalone institutions in other fields, all of them should try to become multidisciplinary institutions offering holistic and multidisciplinary education. If you look at the IIT system, many of them have started courses in economics, and IIT Kharagpur, for example, has also started medical education within the confines of an Institute of Technology. Therefore, the recommendation is that by 2030, we should have only multidisciplinary universities. And it requires structural changes. They have also suggested what kind of changes should take place, and implementation issues are being discussed in several brainstorming sessions, which are typically organized by AICTE. Next. Next. And we see that we're having this seminar workshop in the online and digital mode, and which requires and which ensures equitable use of technology. We are using technology tools. Therefore, it is very important that in the future, we'll have to use ICT-based educational initiatives to deliver education in an efficient manner. Next. And then online teaching platform and tools. Some of them are available. I'm sure all of you have heard about SWAYAM, the Hindi acronym which stands for Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. So this provides educational material, learning materials. It provides access to all the students in every part of the country. And there's another one, Diksha, which is a unique initiative which leverages existing highly scalable and flexible digital infrastructure to help the teachers. So both these and other tools will be available 24/7, it is proposed, in order to help the teachers. Next. The digital divide is an important problem, not only in India, but even in advanced countries like the US, for instance, because all the learners and even the teachers do not have equal access to technology and technology tools. India started with the use of television, radio, and community radio for enhancing the access to education, primary as well as higher education, to all parts of the country. Even today, of course, all parts of the country are not equally connected to the internet, to the digital world. And therefore, addressing the digital divide is an extremely important thing. And again, 24/7 availability of these resources, that is important. A student should be able to access them at a time convenient for him, at a place convenient for him. Next. Assessment, online assessment and examinations, we should learn how to do it. And they talk about a national assessment center for PARAK, which is performance, assessment, review, and analysis for holistic development. Tools have to be developed for managing this. And blended models of learning, both face-to-face learning, like brick and mortar institutions we had, plus learning online, and a combination of both is the blended models of learning. And laying down standards, they're talking about a body NECF. Next. You see, all these are policy, important policies. That is, this is the goal that I want to achieve. But as important, if not more important, is implementation, making it happen. Now, in our country, we have excellent policies, for example, for environment and several other things. But what is lacking is the implementation. If it is law and order, enforcing the laws is the important thing that has not happened. So they are talking about strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education, financing affordable and quality education for all. This requires a great deal of resources. And thirdly, implementation in a direct fashion. Next. Our Prime Minister, who inaugurated the release of the National Education Policy, has stressed on a few things which are very important. He mentions that there's a great deal of difference from the old education policy, meaning the 34-year-old education policy we had. Now, whereas NEP 91 or 86, they focused on how to think. Now, this policy, he claims, is focusing on what to think, and followed by previous education. I'm sorry, the previous policy talked about what to think, the content, and the present policy talks about how to think. So this is replaced what to think. Next, it is research and technology focused. Third, it talks about quality education, because even though you might increase the number of institutions, you might increase DER, what is important if you want to provide education to make quality human beings, as our former president Abdul Kalam used to stress, quality education is very important. Next. Teacher training. Teachers at the moment, if you look at the number of young graduates who want to take up teaching as a career, particularly in engineering, it is a very small number of graduates, because they have other more attractive avenues in front of them in terms of industry, in terms of the IT sector. Therefore, we lack a large number of, the very scarcity of teachers, and a huge gap in terms of the number of teachers required. So the PM talks about, when a teacher learns, the nation leads. And the talent of India must stay in India, must stay in the conventional sectors, and provide the teaching personnel required. And institutes to lead. He calls on the higher education institutes to lead the others to a better education system through webinars, seminars, and brainstorming sessions. All the IITs, for example, have been given an additional responsibility of providing leadership and also training leaders in other institutions. Classes in mother tongue. The PM supported the students being taught until class 5 at least in their mother tongue. Multiple exit option in NEP 2020. If you go through the policy carefully, you will see that it allows the students to take a break from the current course and pursue a more apt course suitable for the job he or she is pursuing. Next. Dr. K. Kasturirangan, the former chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization, he is the chairman of the New Education Policy 2020, the latest one. The earlier one, the chairman was the erstwhile Cabinet Secretary T.S.R. Subramanian, who unfortunately is no more. So Dr. Kasturirangan gave an interview to the Mint magazine, where a number of very relevant and perceptive questions were asked of him. As I go through them, you will realize that these are all the doubts you might have also had. So a flexible education system, he points out, will open our minds to excellence, according to him. We need a new school structure, vocational education from the age of 12, 4-year degrees, flexible exam systems, and a merger of UGC and AICTE. It has not happened yet, but when the HECI is formed, then these two will be merged into, or they will be formed verticals in an umbrella organization. So the questioner asked some very good questions. What were the main objectives of a revamp of the entire structure after 34 years? So he says, this is a time for transformation, and drastic changes everywhere are happening. We need to take, therefore, another look at everything we do. Transforming and creating a dynamic education system is fundamental for the progress of any country, and we are planning to do that. So because 3 decades have passed, lots of things have changed in the environment, in the objectives of education itself. In different countries have tried different things, and we have some experience of our own, what we have done over the years. Next. Next. The questioner asked, you have said we need to have an open-minded approach to education. It is an abstract kind of a statement. So he said, can you explain? He says education cannot be in water-tight compartments anymore. A chartered accountant cannot just study finance. There needs to be diversity, because today there are so many opportunities. So flexibility is a watchword for the new set of systems. And there must be coherence for holistic learning. Because when you say a fragmented education system, what does it mean? It essentially means that it is incoherent in parts. So one level of education does not lead to the next level. So holistic learning is the term that is used. A major recommendation she asked is to allow foreign universities to set up campuses in India. Will the powerful private college university lobby allow it to be implemented? You might remember that this became a political issue, and some parties, some political parties, they supported this, allowing foreign universities to come to India, and other political parties vehemently opposed this. So the answer is that the idea is to open our minds to excellence. Not all kinds of institutions would be permitted to come to India. We are only looking at the topmost and world-class Ivy League institutions. And for example, UGC has given a guideline that the institutions which come under the top 100 in international rankings, global rankings, only they will be allowed to set up institutions in India. Next. And next question is, more than 3 lakh students go abroad every year. The number might be different, slightly different. Was the decision to make the degree 4 years aimed at making this easier? You might remember that in Delhi University, there was a huge uproar when the Vice Chancellor, he proposed a 4-year undergraduate degree program. So since this policy talks about bringing it back, so this is the question that has been asked. So the answer Dr. Kasturirangan gives is no. The 4-year degree is aimed at making the students more job worthy and make graduate courses more holistic. But it does not answer directly the question, but he gives the rationale that they had in mind. The other interesting thing is, now we have recommended, he says, major and minor subjects like physics with music, not what the student needs according to educationists, but what the student wants. What are his preferences? The reason why this is introduced to my mind is because of the inclusion of Dr. Manjul Bhargava. He is a Fields Medal winner in mathematics. He works at the Princeton University School of Advanced Study, and he took off 1 year to come to India to help in the formulation of this policy. So these are open-minded combinations of topics. Next question was, a number of seats in premier institutions like the IITs and national law schools are too few for an aspirational country like India. Do you believe that more seats will bring down the quality? Well, at the moment we have 900 universities under the University Grants Commission. And the idea is to reconfigure the system and first recommend that the IITs should become multidisciplinary. And then once we reconfigure, the seats can go even 20,000 for a university, just like the universities in the US and some large universities in our own country. So the goal, he said, is to restructure and not just increase the intake. Next. Next. So next, let me go to my comments because I see that the time is running out. Go next. Next, 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 next. So these are details. I'll make the, stop here. I would like to focus on some of my comments after I've studied this policy. An education policy gives the nation an opportunity to review the past and chart out a future in consonance with the emerging global environment. In fact, the 1986-91 policy served to introduce new features. It combined technical and management education for the first time. It created the AICTE, and it created the accreditation systems for quality assurance like NBA and NAC. It's interesting that both of them were created in the same year. Next. Okay. Essentially, they are talking about classification of institutions into 3 types, combining research and teaching in different proportions. Type 1 with primary focus on research, which is what would help us to get into the top 100 universities or 200 universities in global rankings. Type 2 focusing on both research and teaching, almost 50-50. and type 3 focusing on teaching, mostly teaching. So this is the classification that has been given in order to cater to different needs of the education system. Next. Another important recommendation is the setting up of the National Research Foundation on the lines of the National Science Foundation in the US. Next. Now, there is a matter of concern for educationists in India and also the government's national and global rankings. There are two major types of rankings, global rankings, QS, Quacquarelli-Simons, and THE, Times Higher Education Rankings. We typically secure only about 2 or 3 positions in the top 100. We introduced the NIRF rankings, about which I am sure you are familiar, National Institutional Ranking Framework. And essentially what it does is to compare different institutions within our country, but it doesn't help us to reach local rankings. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate your institution, as your principal has talked about the several accomplishments you have done, you have achieved. And these are all very important steps to excellence as you go through your life cycle. Now, again, I'll skip this. What do we have to do to create world-class universities? Dr. Mashelkar has analyzed, and I don't want to get into the details. Next. 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 It's a clear roadmap on what we need to do. Next. What NIRF has done is to introduce a comparison and competition between the different institutions in India. It does not contribute to improvement in international competitiveness. What we have to do for that is to look at countries like China, Singapore, and Hong Kong, which have many institutions in the top 100. How did they do it? And why aren't we able to do it? So that is another question, which is outside the scope of what I'm talking about today, but it has to be given importance. Next. I'll close soon. Next. 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 This is the important point that those of you who read the policy document should realize. The document states that accreditation should be the basis for regulation. This is a very important point that they seem to make, because regulation has gotten into difficulties. They say you assess the quality before you regulate the institution. The two are entirely different. What is regulation? It is the satisfaction of prerequisites, fulfilling the prerequisites before you set up the institution. Unless you have fulfilled all the requirements, as is given, for example, in the AICTE document, you cannot set up the institutions even, it cannot come into existence. But once 2 batches have graduated, that is 5 years have elapsed, and the performance is evaluated through accreditation, then you get accreditation. So regulation and accreditation are entirely different. Next.
Okay.
Another small point, I'll close in another 3 minutes. It's fashionable to say that there should be liberal studies in an engineering curriculum. In fact, if you look at the distribution of credits over the engineering curriculum, about 15% at the moment we offer to liberal studies. These are engineering ethics, environment science and technology, civics, constitution, sustainability, and so on. Now, my argument is that because our life is full of technology devices and technologies, ranging from mobile phones to personal computers and so on, general education curricula should include a reasonable portion of technology studies, STEM as it is called, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, let me close because I see that it is coming to an hour. Let me close now, and the presentation is available with you. And in a fairly easy fashion, I have compressed, it is a 66-page summary into these 53 slides that I have got here. So you may go through it. And if there are any questions on what I have presented, then I would like to deal with them. Nagaraj, so I'll close my talk here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I thank Professor R. Natarajan Garu for readily accepting our invitation and sharing your knowledge, which was an informative session. I also thank you for motivating, enlightening, and entertaining presentation, sir. So, participants, if anybody have any doubts, please directly interact with Chief Guest Professor R. Natarajan Garu. You can directly interact with
Sir, may I get an opportunity?
Sir, one of our participant asking something, sir.
A little louder, please. Yeah,
Sir,
go
is
ahead.
it audible from my side, sir? I am Hari Babu from Visakhapatnam, Lendi Institute of Engineering and Technology.
I can't hear you.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, as part of this new education policy on the learning language mechanism, which started somewhere at 53rd page, sir, as I...
Please speak a little louder or increase the volume.
Sir, okay.
Yeah, the medium of instruction you are talking about.
No, sir. It is about language adoption. Since anyway, the communication, since the hue and cry is improve your communication, as part of that development, I feel new education policy could not come forward in giving much priority for this communication development, sir. What do you say on this line?
There are two aspects to this. And when I talked about medium of instruction, you said that is not what you are talking about. But the ability to communicate, it's one of the most important employability skills. And definitely it is a part of co-curricular activities that an institution should undertake, and also have language labs, for instance. And again, workshops and seminars on how to improve the communication skills. It is definitely given importance in the education policy.
Thank you, sir. Since I am a language teacher, I am little eager to know about it. Thank you very much for your support on this line.
Particularly if you are a rural institution, the medium of instruction in schools is typically the regional language, which is not English. English is taught as a separate subject. So when you enter an engineering college where the medium of instruction is English, there's a huge gap which has to be cleared and overcome. So I know many institutions have different strategies for doing this. And I'm sure your college also has encountered this problem, and you have your own strategies for, if you're a language teacher, you will have deep involvement in removing this hurdle.
Thank you.
Any
Sir.
other?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other participant? Any queries?
Hello.
Yes?
I'm Dr. KVSN Raju from SRKR Engineering College, sir.
Yeah, a little louder, please. Yeah.
The new educational policy is good, sir, but what suggestions you give for the teachers, or what type of mindset change is needed from the teacher side and the institution side?
What are required? Ask the question again, the last part.
In the implementation of the educational policy, what
Yes.
changes have to take place, especially in the mindset of teachers and the administration?
Yes, you're absolutely right. This problem has been recognized by the people who have framed the policy, and they have a separate section on implementation. And UGC and AICTE have been asked to conduct interactive workshops for different aspects of the policy which need to be implemented, and it is taking place now. Even today, as I speak, AICTE is organizing more than one workshop on implementation issues. It is called a brainstorming session as well as studies. Therefore, they recognize the fact that implementation is the key to achieving the results, but you need to have a proper policy, the direction towards which you should move in order to achieve the results. Both are very important. Yes, in India, implementation is the important hurdle. And AICT and UGC are organizing a lot of workshops.
Thank you, sir, for your clarification.
Sir, anybody? Any other queries from audience, participants?
Okay, the presentation is available with you.
Okay,
It
sir.
is easier to read it than the overall document. And I hope
I will share your presentation to participants, sir, definitely.
yes, please do that.
Okay, once again, I thank you very much, sir, Professor Natarajan Garu, for readily accepting our invitation and sharing your knowledge, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and all the best to all the participants who will be going through this one-week program on faculty development. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We shall soon begin our next session. Topic of this session is to provide an understanding of innovative teaching and learning methods. Eminent speaker of this session is Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu. Now, I invite Mr. B. Sanjay to introduce the speaker of this session, Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu.
Nagaraju, I will leave the session.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, if possible, you can continue or no problem, sir. Now I invite Mr. B. Sanjay to introduce the speaker of this session.
Good afternoon, Manoj. Myself, Sanjay, Assistant Professor, ECE Department, SRKR Engineering College. Respected dignitaries, faculty members, and participants, good afternoon to you all. And welcome to the program on AICT sponsored a one-week national level online STTP on ITLMIS-October 2020. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce and welcome our speaker this evening, Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu, who is going to talk to us about the innovative teaching and learning practices.
Okay. Sanjay, please continue.
Sir. Dr. K.V. Subbaraju Garu, working as a professor, Center for Human Excellence and Leadership Projects, SRKR Engineering College, Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh. Professor K.V. Subbaraju Garu, PhD with education in different areas such as humanities, sciences, engineering, and other aspects of social sciences. Professor Subbaraju Garu has education of applied psychology, education, entrepreneurship, biology, chemistry, computer science, and yoga from various prestigious universities like Agra, Hyderabad, Andhra University, Usmania, Bhatia, and Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, Ahmedabad. Professor Subbaraju Garu has also done a course on how to teach so that every student understands using multiple intelligence from Harvard University, USA. Along with attending multiple conferences on igniting genius from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, he has specialized training in value education, soft skills, meditation, and personality development from various eminent personalities of highest repute. A scientist, a professor for a long time, he has established the first personality development and learning center in an educational institute in India in 1990, and inspired and trained 2 lakh youth in 150 plus organizations in India and youth conventions and parent groups in USA. Based on his interactions and experience with youth, he authored about 10 books. Among them, Success Secrets is used as kit book by 30 educational groups, and textbook and reference book by several universities like GSS Indraprastha University, New Delhi, autonomous colleges for human values and ethics and soft skills courses from 2013. Punjab Technical University sought permission to translate the book into Punjabi for use of their student and Punjabi community. Professor Subbaraj Garu conducted book reading program as a part of induction and orientation from 2014 for newly admitted students, 60,000 students in 100+ institutes. In book reading program, every participant owns the book. As a other inspiring speaker, motivational and soft skill trainer, Dr. K.V. Subbaraj Garu has already impacted lives of 2 lakh youth in 150+ universities, professional colleges and schools, and is on his mission to get genius in 1 million youth. He gave keynote address at conferences and participated as resource person in training program of teachers and FDP, and also funding for projects like TCS, NATCO Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, etc. He conducted sessions as keynote inspiring motivational speaker, soft skill trainer, and trainee trainer program. Dr. K.V. Subbaraj Garu believes prosperity of India in 21st century happens through preparing more and more youth as global professionals by inculcating right values, attitudes, and habits along with technical skills. Otherwise, the demographic dividend becomes a burden. Today, we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to him this evening. I am sure we will be enriched by the program. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir, to this literary evening of the STTP program. Thank you.
Sir, Dr. K.V. Subbaraj Garu, you can continue, sir.
It is wonderful to address
Good evening, sir.
people from different colleges and different universities from India and abroad. And it is more privilege, I feel more privileged that to address after one of the eminent personalities in technical education, Professor Natarajan Garu. I want to start with a small story to tell you the importance of engineering education. Yes. I will be talking about innovative teaching and learning methods. I will be speaking more on psychological factors, growth mindset, learning styles, which will be very useful for students to reach more and more students in the classroom. You see the picture here. This is the gate of the heaven, and people are in the queue to go to the heaven. But there are very few vacant places to go inside the heaven. And then they were interviewing everybody. What are you? One person said, I'm a lawyer. They said, there are no politics and no problems in heaven. So we don't need a lawyer. And then another said, I am a medical doctor. They said, in heaven, there are no diseases. So there is no need for a doctor in heaven. And then one person went to them and he told that, I'm an engineer, please give me admission. They said, no place for you. Then he said, if you don't give me a place in heaven, then I will construct another heaven so that I will compete with you. And then the heavenly people were very much afraid, and they said, no, don't do that. I know the engineers. Engineers are great leaders, great innovators, and they build the nations, they build the cities, they build the system. So, my dear friend, don't start constructing another heaven, please come inside. So, my dear friends, what I want to say is engineering education is so important. Engineers are so important in India. At this point of time, India has become very popular outside the world because of our engineering graduates. You say that Nadella Sechyam, or you talk about Piche Sundaram. Many engineers have made India a very great, very known country, and almost India has become the brain for the whole world. What I want to say is engineers are so important. Engineers are so important for the world. Engineers are so important for the world. So one person said recently, one person came to India, he told that 21st century is going to be India's century. 21st century is going to be India's century. All of you know, my dear friends, up to 16th, 17th century, India and China were the top two countries which were earning 50-60% GDP in the world. And they were telling that India is going to become a great country because of two reasons, because of 65% youth population. And if all these people are trained in technical education, different skills and different other provisions, India will be a great country, because many countries in USA, UK, Europe, and many countries are deficient in number of people. They don't have the population, young people to support the population. So many of Indians will be migrate to different countries. But the important thing is, if Indians have to seek more and more employment through the world, they have to be more skilled. If they develop more skills, they will be doing higher level jobs. If they don't do higher level, if they don't develop proper knowledge, skills and mindsets, they will just they will be doing ordinary jobs, and they cannot contribute for the prosperity of themselves, and they cannot contribute for the prosperity of the country. And you know, these are the who. Please, can you name this person? Can you name this person with spectacles? And you know, this man is Nadella Satyam. And you know, this engineer is the great Mokshaguna Sundaraya, Mokshaguna Vishweswaraya, and this man is Sir Arthur Cotton. You know how much wealth they created in the world, especially to India. You know, Microsoft, after Nadella Satyam took over as CEO in 1914, the company's value has grown by 5 times, because he improved, enhanced the mindset of the people. He enhanced the psychological aspects of his employees. He enhanced the growth mindset of the students, of their employees. When he enhanced the mindset of the employees, the tremendous development. I will be discussing about the mindset at a later stage. And can you name this? Do you know this man? Do you know this man? You know Abhinandan, you know, IAF pilot, and you know he was they have destroyed one F-16 airplane. You know that F-16 airplane cost around 30 to 40 crore rupees, and this was destroyed by India in the war in 2019. My dear friends, many other F-16s were lost due to a small defect called as corrosion in their fuel injection system. And how that happened, how to solve it, I will be discussing at a later stage. And this will be using a simple principle of the lime battery, which we will be using. You know the lime battery, which we will be using in your science projects. It has the same principle. The cause of corrosion, the cause of destruction of 5 F-16 airplanes is just this. So my dear friends, what I want to say is, please try to answer these questions. Name the pilot of Indian Air Force who was caught by Pakistanis, and name the fighter plane here, And then which neighboring country of India has this plane? Because of this plane, neighboring country has become more powerful than India. So that is a very important that I will be talking about as a case study at the last stage. I will show you at a later. I will show you how the F-16 flies, and I want to share a small story. In the classroom, many times we prepare a lot. We prepare with a lot of effort. And finally, what happens is you find the students are not showing interest in the class. You see the students are not showing interest in the class. Why that happens? Because we do not understand the students. Because we do not know how the students learn, we do not know how the students receive information, we fail to connect with them, we fail to communicate with them. I just for interest, I share a small story. An American Coca-Cola salesman, a very, very popular person. Any country was very, very popular. He went to Saudi Arabia. He understood in Saudi Arabia, they do not understand. They think that they know that they do not understand. They know that they do not understand. They know that they do not understand. They do not understand. Yes, they do not understand English. So he wanted to make a advertisement just. He made a picture because a picture is common anywhere in the world. Picture is common anywhere in the world. So he made three pictures. In one picture, a person was running in the desert. And in another picture, he drank Coca-Cola. And other picture, he was flat on the ground. So he made this advertisement, he made it a poster and kept it anywhere. He kept it everywhere in Saudi Arabia. And what happened was, after seeing this picture, the sales have not increased, but the sales have decreased. So he asked his friend, why this happened? I had a great picture, a great chart. I put it for advertisement. Instead of increasing the sales, there is a decrease in sales. What is the reason for that? Then he said, "Oh, you show me the picture." He has shown the picture. Then he said, "It is Saudi Arabia. You please try to understand what is the reason. Please think of what is the reason. Please think of what is the reason for that. Why Saudi Arabia they did not buy? Suppose if you take India." The people understand like this. If a person is flat on the ground because of thirst, and then he drank Coca-Cola, then he started drinking. But what happened here was, when he drank Coca-Cola, what happened was, people thought he fell on the ground. That means he lost energy. Instead of getting energy, he lost energy. So they thought Coca-Cola will give you, it will de-stress you, it will make you lose your energy, it will de-energize you. So they stopped buying this. So my dear friends, whenever you are communicating with something, you have to understand the group of people. You have to understand the group of people. Unless you understand the group of the people, you cannot communicate so that they understand. So here in Saudi Arabia, they study in a different way. And he kept his picture based on America and other countries. So my dear friends, it is very, very important. Who are the audience? Who are the students? In what way they learn? What are the learning style? What is their intelligence? What way they process information? What is their social background? These things one has to understand. Then only a person can communicate properly, can prepare well, and so that it suits to every person in the audience. So here you see this picture. You see this picture. This picture is everything men know about women. The title of this one is Everything Men Know About Women. And this is around a $20 book. But once you open the book, it is only white pages. The book is nothing but white pages. The book tells that what men know about women is nothing. It is just like white paper. In the same way, I say whenever I conduct a program to teachers, I say that most of us, the teachers, do not know about the students' mindsets. We do not know about their attitude. We do not know about their beliefs. We do not know about their strengths. We do not know about their learning style. So we start communicating. We understand them in one way and we start communicating. And when they show blank faces, we feel that I prepared so much. I spent a lot of time for preparing for this lecture. But all these people are having a blank face. It is not my fault. They think that it is not my fault. It is the fault of the other person. Please try to understand, teaching is nothing but communication. In a learning or teaching, it is the responsibility of the teacher or the giver or the sender to make the other person understand. In the classroom, it is the responsibility of the teacher to see that what the teacher teaches is understood by the student. What the student understands is what you are taught. You may teach 100 points. If the student understands 10 points average, then what you're teaching is 10 points. Please try to understand, it is your responsibility to understand the student, and you should get connected with them, and then you have to communicate in such a way that every student learns. I happen to do a program from Harvard University that is teaching so that every student understands by using multimodal teaching, by using different intelligences, by using different learning styles. So when you use a multimodal model, more and more students will be understanding. Suppose you are speaking somewhere where people from different languages are there. If you speak in Hindi, a few people understand. If you speak in English, a few more understand. So if you explain the same thing in Hindi, English, and the native language, more and more students will be understanding. So my dear friends, it is important for you to understand that it is my responsibility to teach so that every student understands. So in this case, what happened was the salesman doesn't know about the people, how they read in Saudi Arabia, and he could not communicate. In the same way, most of us teachers do not know how the students do not take information, how they process information, how they understand and how they learn these things. We do not understand. So usually we are not taught about that. So this is to understand how they learn is very, very important. I will be covering these things in the future slides. You see, now you have got a generation called as millennial, Y, and Z generation. Z generation means generation born after 2000 is called as generation Z. And from the day one, they have the mobile in their hand. And for them, technology is very easy. And generation Y is born from 1980 to 2000. Now the people we are dealing are mostly the Z generation or Y generation. They have got these skills. You please read about them. If you read about them, understand they are skilled in technology. To use technology is very easy for them to use. For many teachers, they do not know how to use the technology. They are not experts in technology, but these people are experts in technology. If you want to become a better teacher, it is very important for you. It is very important for you. It is very important for you to use technology. They are good at collaborating. They work as teams, and they sleep by their phones. You know, and they consider that new technologies will make their lives easier. They think the technology is making their life very easy, and they use social networks, and they always want to earn prizes. They always want to have compete and get rewarded for their learning. What they want is they want to get recognition. If they do something, even for small things, they need recognition. That is very important for them. And so they are different from our generation. If you take 1980s, 1990 born people, they do not expect recognition and rewards for every small achievement. But this generation of Y generation and Z generation, that means they are born of 2000, these people are, they want recognition. If you recognize, if they do some achievement, if you show them recognition, they get connected to you, they learn more and more from you. If you don't recognize them, if you don't reward, they need not be big prizes. You can just appreciate a word, or you can give a small pen, you get a small book like that. So that is, you have to understand the gamification is very important. If you can convert your learning, if you convert your knowledge teaching into a game, they can understand the things very, very well. So my dear friends, so you have to understand the millennials learning is very important. Millennials learning is very important. If you teach anything by using blended learning or other kinds of learnings, they can learn very well. Communication is the responsibility. I tell a small story. Please try to understand. One professor of communication told his driver, take me to the auditorium. He was in a hurry. The driver did not, it is a very, very important meeting. He should be there in time, but he did not listen properly, but he understood it is a beach. So he took the professor to the beach instead of the auditorium, which is a very, very important meeting. So my dear friends, it is very important for you to see that the other person understands. As a teacher, it is our responsibility to make the students understand. It is our responsibility. The students are also responsible. If you want to teach well, you have to connect to the teachers, connect to the students, and then you should elevate their energy, you should elevate their positivity, and if you teach them, then you will be communicating in a better way. So, my dear friends, it is your responsibility. You cannot blame other people. As far as communication is concerned, it is very, very important for you to teach. Please try to understand. There is a machine, and the machine is getting breakdown frequently. It is undergoing breakdown very frequently. Mechanic one was sent there. The engineer one was sent there to repair the machine. He was going there, and again repair. Hundreds of times he's going, but still it is getting the problems. And then what happened was this person, a new engineer has come. Now the new engineer was sent to the mechanic for the repair, and he came back repairing the machine, and he came back, and after that what happened was there is no longer any problems for the machine. And then the boss asked, manager asked, what you did after you went there? After you went there, there is no problem. After you went there, there is no problem. There is no machine breakdown. What is the secret? He said that very simple. I did not repair the machine. I repaired the mechanic. I have shown him how to repair the machine. I told him that you can do it. I improved his mindset. I said, you can do it. You can develop a mindset. Because of this reason, the mechanic is able to manage the machine well, and hence there are no longer repairs. In this, my dear friends, teachers also need to repair the mindset of the students. If you develop a positive mindset in the students, positive mindset and a growth mindset means I may not understand first time. By repeating, I can learn. I may fail first time. I can repeat and I can learn it. I may have challenges, I may have problems, but I can, by effort, I can solve those problems. This kind of thinking is called as the growth mindset. When this engineer improved the mindset of the mechanic now has a growth mindset. Earlier he was having a fixed mindset. He was thinking, I cannot repair the machine, the engineer has to come and machine. And now the mechanic is maintaining the machine well, and he is doing preliminary work of the machine. And if there is a small problem, he is repairing the machine. So my dear friends, it is important to understand good teachers love their students and change their mindsets. Very important. If the students feel that you want their good, if they think that my teacher wants growth for me, he wants me to improve in my life, automatically the student will try to learn, he will try to be having a good behavior in the classroom and outside, and even in the study room also he will be showing a positive behavior, because he thinks by effort I can learn. I may not understand first time, but if I read the notes and if I try the problem 2 or 3 times, I can learn it. By effort I can grow. This kind of mindset is called as growth mindset. My dear friends, among our students, we should be able to develop this growth mindset. If you see in the college, if you see the many students, 20–30% students will show interest to take information, write notes in the class. And around 20–30% students in the last benches may not show much interest. Understand this? They are not showing interest in the class. So 30–40% are this side or that side. Please try to understand, if you enhance the mindset of more and more of the students that I can grow in my life, I can grow in my learning, and I can grow in every aspect of my life, and then more and more students put effort to learn. So those students get connected to the teacher, and whatever the teacher teaches, they take the information and they try to process the information, they take into their notes and they try to understand it. And if they don't understand, they go home and they put effort, they take the help of the students, they take the help of the teacher. So they take responsibility. They think that I can, that kind of matter, I can grow. By effort, I can learn. So this is very, very important. Actually, using this technique of building growth mindset in Microsoft organization, Microsoft has grown profits by 5 times. So they gave training to all the employees and all the managers on growth mindset. So I may fail first time, and by effort I can become a better and better person. And so that way they started working on bigger problems, risky projects, and then the valuation of Microsoft enhanced by 5 times. So as a teacher, if you develop the growth mindset in yourself, so growth mindset means I may not be teaching well now, but I learn new techniques, I apply them in the classroom, and day by day I become a better and better person. I learn how to present in the classroom better. I get more content. So if the teacher thinks I can grow in my teaching, I can grow in my research, I can grow in my life, that kind of teacher transfers the growth mindset to the students. When the teacher has a growth mindset and when the student also develops the growth mindset, there is a connection between them and there is a strong bandwidth connection between them, and whatever the teacher teaches, it goes to the student very easily. Even if the student doesn't understand something, he feels that by effort I can learn. This is very important. And then the teacher takes responsibility to teach, and the student takes responsibility that it is my responsibility to learn. This is very, very important. Developing growth mindset among more and more students is a solution for all the problems of yourself as a teacher, as a parent, as a spouse. And not only that, it can solve the problems of the college. If more and more teachers become growth mindset teachers, if they become more and more people become growth mindset teachers, the organization grows. The organization grows, and if more and more engineers, if more and more youth in India develop a growth mindset, whether he is a carpenter, an engineer, or a English teacher, anybody, if they can do that, India can become the 21st century giant in the world. And then you need not be afraid of your neighbors. When you are strong, people respect you. How you can become strength? If every Indian becomes a better person, if every Indian develops a growth mindset, he develops his skills, he develops his mindset, he gets more and more tools to teach, to communicate, and then wonders will happen. My dear friends, this is very, very important. I will be throwing some light on this with examples at a later stage. In the second part of the lecture, I will be discussing that. I thought this is very, very interesting. Many people are going to come and teach you about the other technologies of teaching. And I remember a student, this is a student from a village. This is actually real story. This is a real story which was discussed in my book, Success Secrets for Engineering Student. I discussed this story. The student is every day traveling from 30-40 kilometers by train and bus to the college. And he starts at 5 a.m., returns by 10 p.m. He is a local language medium student, so he's unable to understand the lessons. And so he thought, I'm unable to understand the lessons. I don't have time, so I cannot succeed. He has got the mindset that I cannot succeed in my life. He is just surviving. He's not putting any effort to learn. And then he attends a session, a training program on developing a growth mindset. He participates in a growth mindset program. He develops a growth mindset program. Then he starts utilizing he thought it is my responsibility. I can grow in my life. After listening to that lecture, the essence of the lecture is every student has a genius potential. By learning new skills and utilizing time and resources, anybody can succeed. The student, while traveling, he starts working, preparing for the lecture, studying and writing notes like that. In the classroom also was alert. He was alert and writing notes, and he is going back by 9 p.m., 10 p.m. There's no time for him to study, but during his journey, he was studying. In the classroom, he was studying because he has developed a growth mindset. He understood I can grow him in my life by putting effort. I can become a better and better person. I can definitely get degree. By putting more and more effort, I can get a job in the campus also. He has got that kind of mindset. So he was putting effort while traveling in the classroom. And he was learning everything during his travel in the classroom. And Saturday, Sunday, he was a free bird. He was playing games with his friends. My dear friends, I have seen many students, when the students develop a growth mindset, the way they worked, the way they put effort changed, the way they put effort changed. And when they started putting more skills, they started putting more effort, and they have grown 1%. And a period of time, it has become wonderful. So this is So you please try to understand, you please make your students, you develop new skills, you have a lot of possibilities. And if first of all, you have to develop the growth mindset. And once you develop the growth mindset, and when you apply in dealing with the students, you apply that in preparing your notes. So the major point is, my intelligence is not limited, my achievement is not limited, my IQ is not limited. My brain can grow by putting more and more effort. I can grow in many areas. I can learn more and more skills. So that is the growth mindset. And then but if you can develop that kind of growth mindset among your students and in yourself, unless you develop the growth mindset, you cannot transfer to your students. And once you develop a growth mindset, he will be just 1 minute. So please try to understand, developing a growth mindset in yourself and others is very, very important. Now I'm going to give you a very interesting example. I will with a few stories, with few very interesting examples, I will convey a Nobel Prize story. I will talk about a Nobel Prize story, and I will talk about a very using a simple principle of lemon slice, lemon. You know, there is a battery called the lemon battery. You know, there is a battery called lemon battery. So in a lemon, you put a zinc coated metal rod and a copper coated metal rod. When you join the two things, what happens? The zinc anode and copper cathode, when these two are kept in, two metals are put in an acid, what happens? Current is generated, and this LED will glow when it is more than 3 volts. Please try to understand. So when two metals join together in an electrolyte, a process takes place. In that place, what happens? A rust will form and a metal will dissolve. So I will take this story to this F-16. You know, F-16 is a very, very costly, very powerful. It's a very, very powerful fighter jet. It's very, very powerful. One of the best things in the world is F-16. And some are lost. One is lost in Iraq war. One was destroyed by India in Pakistan. And then, but many failed because of unknown reason. And then they studied the whole electronics. They studied aerodynamics. Everything they studied. They found no defect. And they called the corrosion engineers. And the corrosion engineer took a filling point, a fuel filling point. Here in a small pot, corrosion happened, a rust formed here. Here rust formed because two metals are in contact. One is the gold metal, and the second metal is the tin metal. Two metals are in contact there. Because of special reasons, they used those two metals. Gold was used, and when these two metals were in contact, what happens? When two metals in contact, what happens? Corrosion will take place, and the fuel pump stopped working. And because of that simple reason, the F-16 failed. It got destroyed. 5 such planes were destroyed. So please try to understand, the problem is a loss of, the problem is, first of all, what is when you take the Bloom's taxonomy, what is the problem? Failure of F-16. And they analyzed the problem, and then they found that here there is a two parts are in contact, there is a corrosion. They understood the problem, and then they applied the principles, and then they evaluated how we can solve the problem. Evaluated, and then they created a solution between the two metals, the iron and gold. A small amount of corrosion inhibitor, corrosion resistant material was put, costing around $100. This $100 saved 100 crore fighter jet. Please try to understand engineers, any person, engineer or anybody, when they study, they should understand what is the problem, and then they have to understand the problem, and then they analyze and apply the problem. They have to evaluate and then create. So in this case, you can see all the 5 levels. So please try to understand the same thing what happens in a lemon battery, which we use which we show in our school exhibitions. The same thing, the same principle. Because of the same principle, here a big aeroplane got destroyed, a fighter jet was destroyed, is very, very dangerous. So, and then they studied what is the problem, and they try to understand the problem. They analyzed, applied, and then they evaluated and found a solution. They created a solution. So here you are seeing 2 things here. They relate to that. One is the Tesla car of Musk, and then this is the battery for this. So in the battery of the Tesla electric car, also the same principle used, where 2 metals are in contact. And here there is a battery called as a lithium battery. 2 metals are in contact, and this work has given Nobel Prize to the people. Please try to. So please, a tin-plated connector pins and gold-plated socket underwent. When 2 metals are in 2 different metals in contact, what happens? Corrosion takes place, and then the metal gets destroyed. And then you please try. The failure had the effect of shutting down the engine. F-16 crashes, and then corrosion spray stopped corrosion. Please try to understand this small corrosion spray saved a big aeroplane, a fighter jet. Very, very important. Fighter jet in war, if one fighter jet is lost, means sometimes war will be lost. So it is very, very critical. So engineers are problem solvers. Simple problem, big losses. So when a simple problem of 2 metals in contact, a small amount of a milligram of rust formed, and please try to understand this. The shutting down of the engine happened, and then a big loss of 750 to 1,500 crores of five jets was 5 jets were lost that way. And a simple solution is there. Engineers or scientists are problem solvers. So we have to understand the problem and we solve the problem. So just knowing thing is of no use. Just knowing what is a process, knowing what is it, what are the spot, how it works, it doesn't happen. You have to create solutions. Engineers are problem solvers. Engineers are innovators. Engineers build the world. So my dear friends, because engineers are going to become innovators, because of engineers, India is going to become a better country, become a developed country in the world. Because of this reason, we have to, as teachers, we have to take a lot of responsibility. We are building the engineering classrooms or the science classrooms or arts classrooms. In our classrooms, we are producing innovative, creative people. And we are building India. Suppose if you just make copycats, it's of no use. Making copycats, Xerox copies, is of no use. My dear friends, you have to first of all, you have to get the engineers are very important. Engineers are very, very valuable. And the second thing, please try to understand engineers are very, very valuable. The second thing, please try to understand communication is your responsibility to understand the students, how they learn, what are they, you should get connected to them. And the third one is having the mindset is very important. First of all, when you go to the classroom, you have to set the mindset of the student. That he should be receptive. Every student comes with the decision. Most of the students think that I should not listen in the class. I should not open my mind. The teacher should not enter my mind. He tries to put effort. By some techniques, you have to enter the mind of the students and you have to put information in his mind. Once the information goes into the mind, the student processes information and then he learns. So please try to understand engineering or the whole of India has to, if India has to become a knowledge, India has to become a knowledge country, India has to become a knowledge society. Yeah, our engineers or our art students or science students or a pharmacy students, every of the students should be innovative and creative. They should not be copycats. It is our responsibility as teachers, we have to take responsibility so that you are connected to every student and you motivate them and you tell them importance of what you are teaching and you try to connect them. And the same principle used in that Tesla car. In this also, and this work has got the Nobel Prize. 3 people, 2019, 3 people got Nobel Prize. So in this case, a lithium and another lithium oxide anode, cathode, lithium anode and some graphite cathode and some metal oxide is put between them. And the 3 things, because of the 3 contributions from 3 people, one invented the positive electrode, another invented the negative electrode, and another invented the electrolyte. And one person, Japanese person, joined these 3 parts, improved the cell, and because of that cell only, all Indians, all the you have got say you got cell phones, you take your cell phone or you take your laptop and you take all the electronic devices are working because of the lithium ion battery. This lithium ion battery also uses the same principle. In a lemon there are 2 electrodes, copper cathode and anode, but here the anode is the lithium anode and the cathode is a graphite cathode. Instead of lemon, you got the lithium metal oxide. Because of these 3 components, this has become very efficient. It gives around 3 volts of voltage, and it can be recycled many times. If you take a lead acid battery, so please take one. By using one principle, you can apply it many places. Because of this, you got this. This car is the Model X of Musk's car. You got Tesla car, and here you got the battery and over this. All the components are shown here. Please try to understand. Engineers are innovators. Engineers are problem solvers, and they cannot be just copycats. So as teachers, we have to teach them innovation. If you want to teach them innovation and creativity, we should be enhance their thinking level. We should change their mindset, and we should use the different kinds of learning styles and other things which I will be discussing at a later stage. So my dear friends, what I want to say is, for some people this may not for non-engineering or non-science students, this may not may not make any sense. Please try to understand the simple principle. 2 metal sheets are there. In between them, there is just some liquid is there. Understand, this is the principle. This principle caused destruction here. This caused destruction, just like a negative thing is destroyed and fighter jet. The same principle is running electric vehicle, and all your mobile phones are working on these principles. All your mobile phones and all your computers are working on this principle. So chemical power lithium battery Nobel Prize 2019. So this is the actual cell, and this is. So in this case, when we go beyond the subject, the student gets interested. You know, we are teaching about how the 2 electrodes and the 3 components are working. We explain, but the student doesn't interest. What is the use of this? What is the use of this learning? You are talking about Elon Musk, you know, most genius fellow. He's the 3rd, 4th richest person in the world. He is a mechanical engineer and also a physics graduate, and he is an expert in business. because of three things, is expert engineering, science, and business has become so prosperous. He's sending space jets to space, private jets, private spacecraft is there. That happened because that fellow is an engineer, is a scientist, he is a mechanical engineer, he is a scientist, and not only that, he is a businessman, has got the business approach. And you know, another person, Tesla, is called as Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is a very, very creative person. He is highly, he invented so many components. He discovered so many devices, so many ideas. Your AC generation is because of this Nikola Tesla. But Tesla doesn't have the business sense. So he was a flop as a businessman. He died bankrupt. He has to pay the hotel bills. He could not pay that. Almost he died as bankrupt, because though he's considered the most intelligent person of the 19th century, more intelligent than other people like Edison and others, but still that fellow did not succeed because he doesn't have the basic human relations, soft skills, and the business sense. Musk is also an engineer. Musk is also an engineer. He's a scientist, he's a physicist, but he has got a business sense. My dear friends, you have to develop teachers, you have to develop the business sense in the students also. This is very important. If India has to become a prosperous country, and if India has to become a rich country and a powerful country, then our engineers have to become innovators. They have got very good knowledge. They could become innovators. Now they should have a business sense is very important. Without business sense, your ideas will not monetize. They do not convert into money. They do not convert wealth for the country. If an engineer starts a company and he earns money, means he's creating wealth for the whole country. Infosys, you know, 7 engineers created billions of wealth for the country. You know, Flipkart, these people are having innovative, they have a scientific knowledge, engineering knowledge, and they have got a basic business sense. They've got very good relationships with people. So as teachers, my dear friends, you have to see that you create interest among the students. Because of pandemic, we are using more and more of online material. We can send videos to our students. The information we can send to, they can see the video, and then we can teach later on. So the students will see how electric car works, how a F-16 flies, all those things, how they fail, and then they come to the class. Then we teach. Now we can teach better. We can do blended learning. Do you understand this? We can flipped learning. We can do blended learning. So do you understand this? We can create videos and we can send them to students so that it becomes a flipped learning. You can use both the things. You can discuss it. You can have some time teaching and sometimes using videos. Then it's called as a blended learning. So actually COVID-19 has caused so many problems, but it has caused many great advantages for all of us. Because of internet, because of technology, we can share so much knowledge. We can share so much knowledge with our students. We can teach better, and because the students are the millennial students and the generation Z students who are born after 2000, these people are called as generation Z. These students, for them, using technology is very easy for them. Do you understand this? So it is just like using a cycle for us, for the past generation. Do you understand this? So please try to understand the generation. Many times we blame our students. We say that these are useless fellows. They don't show interest. They are irresponsible. They are lazy, and they are not intelligent. And in our days, we are good. We talk like that. So my dear friends, this generation, they say that this generation is 30% more intelligent than the old generation. When the generation changes, the intelligence changes by 30%. But we have to provide the resources which they can use. So all these internet, all these technological resources, they can easily understand them. So for understanding anything, they need three things. This is almost a business process. So one is, unless the person has got a mindset, I can understand this, he will not put effort. And then he needs skills to listen in the classroom, write notes, and he should understand the process. Learning is a process. Learning is a process in which we send information to the students in different ways. We send information through words, through noise, through sounds. We send information through pictures on the board. We show something on a computer. We show information. We need, there's a process. The student takes information. He processes information. So these are, if the teacher follows the right process and if the student follows the right process, and there can be more better learning in the classroom. Whatever technology used, the student has to use, the teacher has to use the right process, and the student has to use the right process. And to follow the process, the student needs certain skills. The student should have the listening skill. The student should have the note writing skill. The student should be able to convert the information into pictures like that. And also the student should have the proper mindset. So I want to grow in life. If the student having a growth mindset, he will try to understand a topic which he cannot understand. Whereas a student having a fixed mindset will think that I cannot understand, by putting effort, I cannot improve. So he will not put effort. So suppose if the teacher is teaching, after 25% of the teacher, if the student faces a problem by a fixed mindset student, the student will not put further effort. The student will not put the student will not try to grow. The student will not try to grow. He will not try to grow and understand. He thinks I cannot grow. So he will not put effort. Because he doesn't put effort, he will not listen in the class. He will not do the process. So my dear friends, you should know the processes. You should know the skills and tools. You should know the mindset. If the student and the teacher has got these three things, and if they are working in unison, and an extraordinary learning happens, and the students will become innovators, and the students will become creative. Whatever information you want to transfer, you can transfer. Many times the learning process is not successful because the teacher has a knowledge, he has got the content, but he doesn't know the process. He doesn't know how to transfer his content to the student. He doesn't know how to transfer the content to the student. He doesn't know the method. So he thinks that this is only my level. He will not try to put more effort and learn the growth mindset. He doesn't learn the techniques from the better teachers. He will not learn from he thinks the better teachers are better teachers because they are born better teachers. He doesn't know by putting effort, he has become a better teacher. Tendulkar is not born great. He made himself great by practice and by putting effort. But many people think that Tendulkar is a great player, and then even if we put effort, we cannot come to that level. Please try to understand. If you understand the mindset, skill sets, and process, you can become an altogether different teacher. Whether it is an online teaching or offline teaching, you should know what are the process. How can I use my Zoom better? How can I use my videos better? I can make my PPTs better. To understand this, how can I make it more attractive? You should have those process and skill sets, and to put effort, you require the proper mindset. These are some. Now I'm telling about some of the some of the process and some of the skills that are required in the classroom. And listening the students, usually I gave a lecture on learning styles and how some teachers are very successful and why some teachers are not very successful. I was addressing about 50 students in a session, and after the class, one of very active young woman came to me. She told, sir, and now I understood why, what is the reason. I teach so well. I'm very good in English. My language is so good. My content is so good. My pronunciation is extraordinary. And then the punctuation, the expression is extraordinary, everything good. But the students put blank face. I did not understand. Now I understood. Around only 30, 40 students will understand, take information by the ears. They take them by ears. Many students read on the board only. When you write on the board only, then only they take information. So now I understand. From now onwards, I will, whatever I teach, I will write on the board. I will also not just write on the board, I will also write with the different colors. I will also write with the different colors. I'll be using different colors, that becomes attractive. The visual students are there. The visual students want to see the information. And some students go on telling, some teachers go on telling, they use the transformation through the lecture. Around 30, 40 students only take information. About 60, 70% students take information what they see on the board. If there are more pictures, better. If the more color, better. They take pictures. They say pictures and learn. They see the words and learn. And the third kind of students, they want very active learning. They have to touch the instruments, touch the components. They want to have the feel. They are feeling type. These people are feeling type. So the feeling type of people, what they do is what the feeling type of people do is they look for more demonstration. They want touch. The teacher should come near them and talk to them, then they understand. Around 10 to 15, 20% students will be there sitting in the last benches. In that 5, 10 students are not interested, but 10, 15 students, they are interested, but they are having a different style called as a kinesthetic type of learning style. So they will be moving their body, they will be moving their fingers. And if they sit in the first, second benches, the teachers complain with them that the teachers don't accept people moving in the first and second benches, so they sit in the last benches. Those students learn when information is sent in that is called the learning styles. So my dear friends, learning styles are important. If you want to become a better teacher, you have to transfer information in the form of lecture, in the form of words, sounds, and not only that, you should be able to transfer information on the board with more and more pictures, more and more flow diagrams, if possible videos, and with some kind of demonstrations like that. If you do that, they understand the lesson better. They understand the lesson better when you use, when you transfer the information. That is called as a multimodal taking. That is called as a multimodal learning. I told you that I did a course on how to teach so that every student understands from Harvard University, where they say that students are of different types. If you want to reach those students, you have to use a multimodal type of teaching. You have to, some students will be logical based. They want some logical. Some people want pictures, and this way different kinds of students will be there. So you have to process, you have to send information in multimodal way. Please try to understand, we teachers have a lot of content. Most of the teachers have got a lot of content. We want to put energy on getting more and more content. Getting more and more content will not solve the problem. So what you present is important. What you present to them is important. How you are presenting is important. And there is a table. Yes, there is a table, and there are different dishes. They are arranged as they please. But one person arranged them in an orderly way. When they are arranged in an orderly way, people can pick very easily. And then, my dear friends, some people want masala food. Some people want sweet food. You understand this? So, my dear friends, when you prepare food, you see that there are different kinds of foods suitable for different. Some people are non-vegetarian, some are agrarian, some are vegetarian, some are different kind vegans. Different people are there. So, to the in your audience, in your guests, there can be different kind of people. You have to cater to the needs of all the people. You have to cater to the needs of all people. So that's why you'll be making more and more types of dishes. Some giving a good smell, some giving looking very good color like that. So then only the guests are attracted to the food. In the same way, my dear friends, when we present information, we have to present information in an attractive way so that every kind of learner has something to take information and take that information to process and understand the process. So, my dear friends, multimodal learning is very important. And three kinds of learning styles. So there's the auditory learning style. So they learn by ears. Some students learn by eyes, they see and learn. Some students are feeling oriented. They want the touch and they want they want to see, they want to work with the mobile. So if you get the mobile at home, one person will straight listens. He asks somebody, phones and says that what to do, he will tell, he will follow that. Somebody will read the manual and work on it, and somebody will directly go there and start operating on that. Some people will directly go there and start working with that. These are called the kinesthetic type of people. So my dear friends, there are different kinds of students. They are just like different languages, Hindi, English, and a local language, just like that. The students are of different types in the classroom, and you give information in the form of, these called the mind map. Mind map is a wonderful technique. If you apply this technique and make in your class, in the board, the students will learn very well, and you can present a lot of information. And there are different modes of, there are different software is also there to make mind maps. Using mind maps, you can teach information very well in offline. You can also teach very well in online. Also, there are this mind map softwares are they using them. You can show and then because the students see the pictures and you see it will be like this. You take the title here, the main point, and then sub point 1, sub point 2. So every sub point will have sub points like that. So on one page you can write 100 to 200 points very easily. So a 10-20 pages information can be written on one page. So you can draw pictures in this, you can write the information, and you can write the keywords. You can actually use the mind maps, and you can reach more and more students. So, so my dear friends, please try to. Yes, when you see this lecture is going on here, the students are everybody having a smiling face because the teacher is making it more interesting. The teacher is teaching very interestingly, and is making it more and more interesting, and everybody is alert. And so, my dear friends, listening classroom is a process. Classroom learning is a process. For the classroom teaching is a process. The teacher has to follow the process using multimodal teaching, using the board, using the words, and using the mind maps, using the flow charts. teachers have to use multicolors. This is very important. I've seen the teachers, the students like to make notes in the multicolors. When they make the notes in multicolor, they show a lot of interest on their notes. So in the same way, my dear teachers, if you make notes, if you write on the board with the multicolors, and the students will feel very interested. My dear friends, teaching is a process and learning is a process. If time permits, sometime teach the student the process of learning. You teach them how the students learn better, and tell about their growth mindset, how to develop growth mindset. You know, Microsoft enhanced its profits by 5 times, 500 times. Its share value of $30 became $200 in 5 years. Please try to understand, it is such a powerful technique, that is mindset and process. You require skills. Next, I will go to the next slide. You know, there are 3 kinds of students. This is useful to some extent, and there are different ways. There is a conflicting research on this. Some people say these things are useful, some say they are not scientific. And I have seen, I have taught, I teach the students every time using the multimodal teaching method. Using a visual method, they process the information of pictures. They also process in their mind as pictures. They take information when presented in the pictures. Not only that, if you give some information, they make pictures of them, and they are able to understand something much better if they see it. And the auditories, those listeners, they think by analyzing sounds, they get more information from how you say, and love to hear themselves and others. So when they discuss with other people, they can learn. When the teacher teaches, they can learn. And then when the teacher is repeating, they can learn. So my dear, these are auditories. So mostly they take information through the ears. Though God has given the 5 senses, some students use more of the eyes, some students use more of the ears, some students use more of the kinesthetic type. So the kinesthetic type are more difficult to teach. If you can reach them, at least respect them. What Kalam says, the backbenchers are the great people, the future leaders, the future innovators are there in the back benches. The future innovators are there in the back benches. Please try to understand, these are kinesthetic people, and they feel the world. They want to work with the models. They want to do and learn it, but it is difficult in a classroom setting to use that process. But in on-time method, online method, you can teach the auditory students, the visual students, and also the kinesthetic students. Now, please try to understand. So what we understood is engineering is very important. Engineering, if engineering or science or arts, if our students become more and more creative and more innovative, and if they develop a growth mindset, if they develop more skills, India is going to become a prosperous country because of its 65% youth population. Because of the 65% youth population, India can become a great country. It can become a great economy when all the people are able to have good skills and good mindsets, and they know the process. From a carpenter to a computer science engineer, when every one of these people develop, or English teacher, anybody, whoever is there, if they develop this kind of skills, it can do wonders. I told I giving a 2 electrode principle. I try to make it more and more interest, and I will show you some videos also at a later stage. Please try to understand. In an online lecture, you can always show I can show you how the F-16 fly. I can show you how the F-16. I can show how the F-16 flies. Do you understand this? I can show you how this car, the Tesla car, will run like that. So I can how it works. All these things are possible. Online has major advantages in teaching. It has own advantages and own disadvantages. but you have to make it more and more interesting, because offline the students may try to, unless you make it very, very interesting, you cannot sustain the interest among the students. So this is a process called as some research says that the students are of different types. You know, in your classroom, some students are very good artists are there. Some students are very good artists. Some students are good artists. They do very well as art. Suppose if your job is done, they make the charts for that. And some students write very good English. They can make a brochure. And some people can go to interpersonal. They can meet and get registration from different classes and do it. And then, so different, some people are space pictures, some people are artists, they can draw pictures. And when you use all kinds of people, they can, as a team, they can be more creative. My dear friends, all the students do not have the same major kind of, everybody has got 8 kinds of intelligence as per the research of Howard Gardner of Harvard University. There are 8 kinds of intelligence in the brain. Some are good in linguistic, they are very good in language. Some are logical, they are very good in processing, analyzing things. They are very good in analyzing things, and they are logical based. Some are spatial, they are very good, they draw pictures. They can design things because they are spatial. They can understand very, very complex ideas. Actually, all innovators are spatial people. And then bodily kinesthetic people work on models. They are good dancers, good players. They work on models, and they can be very good innovators. Interpersonal people are very good leaders. They can motivate others, just like Dhoni. They can motivate other people, and they can inspire other people, and they can lead other people. And then if you take intrapersonal people, you take if you take your Tendulkar, he cannot interact with other people. He cannot motivate other people. There's a reason why he could not become a great captain. So he became captain 2 or 3 times, but he was not. It was not a pleasant experience. Please try to understand this. Interpersonal people will have leadership qualities, and intrapersonal skill people will having. They set goals, they work alone, and they do things. So different kinds of people will be doing different kinds of people will be doing different kinds of people will be different kinds of people will have different kinds of intelligences, different kinds of competencies. So please try to understand. We can use all the intelligence. If you can use the intelligence of all the people in a team, they can produce extraordinary products. They can produce extraordinary solutions. They can become very good. Any question you can type. If any question you can type. Only who attend all the program sessions. So this is a first part of my lecture. Just I will give. Next I will summarize this, and then I will go to the different kinds of mindsets and all those things I will be discussing in the next one.
Participants?
Yes.
Any queries?
Any queries, please?
Please interact with sir. Anybody? Sir is given.
Hello.
To interact.
Yes, please. Hello. Introduce yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Introduce yourself.
I am Venkatesh, calling from Karnataka, Mysore.
Okay. Very
Sir,
nice.
you already told mind map available software also available.
Yes.
What are the free software, open source software of mind map?
Yes, it is there. Some Mindex like that one is there. The 2 or 3 are there.
Yeah. Mindex, and
they will give for 1 month, and then you can again use some of that like that. If you feel interested, you can. There
yes,
are 3 or 4 available. I used it.
Is it a free software, sir?
Yes, please.
It is a free software or commercial?
A free software. For some facilities are free.
Yeah.
Advanced features are paid.
Okay.
For our purpose, the free is sufficient.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank
Wonderful,
you.
wonderful. Mind map is a wonderful for teaching and learning. It is extraordinary. When you take notes also, you can mind map and make notes. Finally, you can summarize.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How do you feel? Are you feeling interesting? What did you learn out of this? Hello?
Yes, sir. All are very interesting, sir. No problem.
Can you tell what they learned? They want. Can you put your feedback in your chart? Just like that, how you felt about it. What
Hello,
you learned. Yes, please.
My name is Naveen Kumar, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Sir, you told that you should have to make the students while interaction. We should have to draw the diagrams with the color and everything, no, sir.
Okay.
For engineering students, if you draw means according to the curriculum, we can't manage the syllabus and everything in time, no, sir. How we can to manage, sir, at that time?
Yeah. You have to use some charts like that. You have already drawn charts to create some. Sometimes you will have more of logical thing. So some subjects need more logic, and in such situation you have to concentrate more on logical derivation, other things, and you can show the outcome in the form of picture. And you can have a small chart and do it if you're offline teaching. Nowadays, some of you are having LCDs and other facilities are there.
Yes, sir.
So you can make pictures and just so you can have a chart and show it. Depending on the subject it is. Otherwise, if you go on drawing the pictures, the whole 1 hour will be more for the drawing picture.
Yes, sir.
I know one teacher, my teacher used to come and draw the picture for the whole 1 hour.
Yes, sir.
You can as well.
Thank you.
It's an interesting question. It's very interesting.
Thank you, sir.
Naveen, sir, is your doubt clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Venkatesh, sir, is your doubt clear? Venkatesh, sir.
Clear, sir. Okay. Clear.
Okay, sir. Shall we move to the next slide, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for your patient listening. Listening is the most. These are the mind map. These are different kinds of mind maps. And different kinds of color. It will be very interesting. Please know about this. Some of you know it. I know some of you know it. But use that, very interesting. If you teach that to students, especially for descriptive type subjects, this will be very, very interesting. Even logical subjects also, to remember the equations, important formulas also, this will be interesting. Yes. This is one student. One in the classroom, I elevated his growth mindset. This fellow is now a professor in American university. This student, when he was studying in BTech, he got a very average rank. But once when he was in my class, I motivated him that every one of you can become better people. You can learn more skills. When you learn more skills, and when you think you can grow and set a higher goals, you can reach it. This person has become a wonderful. He believed in that. He believed in that, the growth mindset, and he applied the principles he learned. What I taught in the class, I told all those principles elaborately. And the students have done very well. If you can teach, my dear teachers, if you can teach the learning skills and other growth mindset skills, other skills to students, and then they love you as God. We understand this? Because many teachers blame the students. I used to have a teacher from minute number one, he used to blame everybody. You are useless, you are useless. And I am only great. But we used to say that you are the only useless fellow. So my dear friends, the teachers have to respect the students. The teachers have to respect the students. The teachers have to grateful to the student for their patient listening. You understand this? And then there will be trust among the students. Then trust happens. When the trust happens, wonderful things happen. When the trust happens, wonderful thing. When the students trust you, whatever information you give, they take you. And when you take any feedback you're giving? Do you want me to wait for some time? So
No, sir. That feedback is meant for participants, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
That message is given to participants, sir.
Thank you, friends. This person is working as a professor now. American University. The thing is, in the very first year, the teacher got the best teacher award. In the very first year, he became the best teacher in the whole college among young teachers. Very first year. I asked him what you did. He said that what you taught me, I taught them. What you taught me in my in your first year and second year during the various programs, I taught those things to my students. I implemented them, and I treated them as you treated me. I treated my students like that, and so there is a bondage between them. I also helped them to develop a growth mindset. I gave one copy of the book to each student on growth mindset. For all these 30, 40 students, he spent $10 and gave free books to all the students. And he says that around 50% students, there's a lot of difference. What he did was, he asked them to read the book. He explained about the book. He asked them to read the book and asked them to what they learned, how they are going to apply. He says around 50% people, there's a lot of good thing happened. They say there is improvement in their classroom, in the college. Not only that, some people use the growth mindset in their families. You know, in America, all the families are multi-parent families. So in a family, there will be father, his stepmother will be there, stepfather will be there, like that. So stepsister will be there. He was able to reconcile his problems with them because of the mindset. So by developing growth mindset, my dear, this boy is Mr. Ellawajjala Ravikiran. He is in North Dakota State University. He is an awardee winner by Indian American Association of Civil Engineers. He did his BTech in MTech in IIT. Then he was very, very successful because he developed the growth mindset. He developed a growth mindset because he learned the new skills. He developed a positive thinking. He developed his belief about himself. So that is very, very critical. That is very, very critical, my dear friends. So I use these things. Every student has this. If you use this kind of quotations, the students feel good about you. Many students have so many problems. If you also start blaming them, they cannot be happy. Many students, this is a statement by Tony Bhujan. He is the creator of, Tony Bhujan, the creator of mind maps. Your brain is like a sleeping giant. When you use your growth mindset and learning skills and interpersonal skills, your brain awakens. To awaken your brain, your intellectual is important, but not only that, your mindset has to change, and you should have the skills. So to dig your brain, you require the skills like learning skills, listening skills, growth mindset skill, and mind mapping skill, and study skills. When the students develop these skills, very extraordinary things will happen. Where you are coming from is not important, and where you are going is more important. And then this quotation, many students like, every student has genius potential. I believe in this. I have seen in my, as a teacher, I've seen many students feel feeling like that and transforming their lives. A student who feels an idiot can never become, he can never prosper. A student who feels a genius may not realize his potential, but he will not degrade. Very, very important, very important, my dear friends. You can show these quotations. You can show such kind of quotations. When you show such kind of quotations and you share with them, wonderful things will happen. The students feel so good about you. When the students are very good, when the students feel good about you, that is the greatest gift. They never forget you. You may teach your subject very well. Teach the subject by using the right process. Enhance their mindset, enhance their abilities, enhance their competencies. That is very important. A radio station and a radio, when the receiving capacity of the radio increases, the radio works well. Not only the radio relay station capacity, the radio capacity is also very important. So when you enhance the capacity of the radio, the receiver, the radio works better. Otherwise, enhance the power of the radio. So my dear friends, what I want to say is elevate yourself, grow yourself, your mindset, your process, your skills, your technological skills, different kinds of different innovative technologies are there. Apply them, make them a part of your process. Apply the innovative technology as a part of your process. Use those processes, and then you can create extraordinary benefits for the students. You are transformed lives, my dear friends. You are very, very lucky. You are paid money and you are given opportunity to transform lives. They never forget. My dear friends, a good teacher, they never forget. Told about these things. Other kinds of learning styles, other kinds are there. Now I will briefly discuss a few stories about growth mindset. I will tell you. These stories are very, very interesting. These stories will be more interesting, and then I will show you a base. I will show the go to basic, and then I will try to show you some. I will try to show you some videos also. I want to show you some videos also. You are sharing. Okay. I want to show you some of these things. I want to show you a few videos. They will be very, very interesting for you. Desktop. I will show you a video. I will show the link. I will see whether I can get it or not. We'll see whether you can get video of. This is the video of F-16. This will be very, very interesting for the student. The student will be very, very interested. Yes, see that. No, this is only to enter the minds of the students. Wonderful. See that, see that, see that, see that, see that, see that wonder. No. I don't want this. You see, here there are four dogs in a cage. There are 4 dogs in a cage, but among these 4 dogs, only one dog has believed that it can come out of it. So this one has got a growth mindset. These 2 are not trying. These 2 are not trying. See that how it is coming out. Yes, that is growth mindset. That is growth mindset. See, other dogs are not all trying. See that the other dogs are not trying. Please see that. See this. Yes. So among the 4 dogs, the people think this is a genius dog. They think that they also can do it, but they are not trying. They have got the same capabilities, but they are thinking this is a genius dog. So what I want to say is, my dear friends, by showing some videos, you can make it more and more interesting. You see, I will show a video about monkey cooperation. This is in 21st century, the people have to work together. Unless they work together, they cannot. Here there are 2 compartments. In one compartment, nuts are there and a monkey is there. In another compartment, a rock is there. But without this rock, the box can't be opened. So now this shares this to the other one. And now it opens that. It opens. So one alone cannot do. So as teachers, you can 2-3 people can work as a team. It's very important. But work as teams. Work and share. Here you see. Yes, now this has got 4 nuts. You see that it has got 4 nuts. It's opening it and it gets 4 nuts. Yes, see that. When now these 2 have collaborated, these people have collaborated. They work together. And now what is happening? Please see that. Please see carefully. Now that the monkey is sharing. So my dear friends, you have to work as a team. Working as a team is very important. Working as a team is very important. When you work as a team, you can get better results. As teachers, my dear friends, work as teams. When you work as teams, you can get more benefit. Please understand, teamwork is very, this is the age of collaboration. India can prosper if all the Indians can work as teams. Teachers in a department can work as teams. Teachers from different departments work as teams. If you take those two monkeys, in one monkey has got a box with 4 nuts, but it doesn't have the rock to break it. The second one has got a nut, has a rock to break it. Now, the second one shared the rock with the first one. The first one opened. Now there are 4 nuts. They shared to each other. When you share with other people cooperate with you, you can do wonders in life. You can do wonders in life when you work as a team. Working as a team is very important. Indians have to work as teams. So we should see that I grow and my friend also grows. Your growth is important. Don't worry whether your friend is growing more or not. This is an international time now. This is not a competition between your friend and yourself. You are competing with all the people in the world. Your team has to grow. Your department has to grow. So as a teacher, you can work together and make a presentation. You can improve. You can get information, share it. So that way, the teachers can be very useful. Growth mindset important. Collaboration very important, my dear friends. Whatever technology you use, the most important 2 technologies is have a growth mindset. The second one is collaboration, work with others, share with others. 1 + 1 becomes 11 when you collaborate. If 2 monkeys do not work together, it is 0. They got 0 nuts. When they work together, they got 4 nuts. They got 2 each. We have to work as teams, my dear friends. We have to work. We have to compete with other countries now. Now everything has become international. You have to compete with the whole world, but work and grow. So, my dear friends, now any questions you can raise. Any questions and any feedback you can give. You can chat.
Participants, any queries?
Can you?
Anybody? Please.
Please, somebody share what they learned. I want 1 or 2 people share what they learned or what are their doubts they can say. At least they can share. It's an opportunity. It's a very good opportunity. Wonderful people, great people.
Hello.
I'm very happy.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir. This is Roja from Lendi Institute of Engineering Technology in Visakhapatnam.
Okay, okay. That's good.
It's really an awesome session that I felt today.
Okay.
I'm really elated because the real practices, what we are doing in our engineering colleges, you have all shared it. And even technologies have been shared, and really I want to incorporate these in my curriculum, even in my teaching even.
Okay.
Really an awesome session, sir. And the videos presented related to mind growing of mind, teamwork.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Reddy is your principal now?
Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. V.V. Rama
He
Reddy.
was our student. Yes, I visited your college once. Very nice talking to you.
That's great, sir. And even I am really sir. Yeah, and it's really awesome to listen to your presentation today,
Okay,
sir.
thank you so much. What's your name, Mama?
This is Roja, sir. Roja.
Oh, which department?
Sir, I am from Department of English.
English. Okay, understand. Your English is good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nice talking
Wonderful.
to you, sir.
Next, anybody else? Thank you.
Subraj
Roji.
garu, hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Japan.
I am Dr. KVSN Raju. Sir,
Yes.
will you please briefly elaborate on mind mapping?
Mind mapping is a technique. You take a A4 page. We take an A4 page and write down the main point at the center. We write down the main point at the center. We write the main point at the center. I will show you. Okay. I will play it once again. I will play it once again. We started and then we get branches. Okay. This is the mind map. This is the mind map. Okay. You start at the center. You write down the main point. You write down the main point at the center, and then write down subtopic 1, subtopic 2, subtopic 3, subtopic 4, 5. It is just like radial lines will come.
And connecting all the
each
things.
radial line,
Sir?
you make some more subpoints like that. So in one page, you can write down 1,000 points.
Okay,
Note
sir.
taking is
I could
excellent
get
process.
the idea. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Very good. Tony Bujan is an expert in that. You can by using mind maps, you can awaken the giant in yourself. Thank you, Dr. KVS Rasgaru. Anybody else, sir? Anybody else, my dear friends? So nice, so wonderful group.
Anybody? Any doubts? Please interact with the speaker, Dr. K.V. Subbaraj garu.
Please read those two books, Success Secrets for Engineering Students and Zero Zeros. Both books are available on Amazon. Success Secrets for Engineering Students, Amazon. They are available. They are sold about around 60,000 copies were sold. I read those books at different colleges. I read the book reading program I did. So when you read the book, you get the growth mindset. Any questions, please?
Good evening, Subramaniam Subbarao from SRKR Engineering College.
Yes, sir. Sir. Please, sir.
Your excellent presentation, sir, as usually. But I'm very much interested in your docs videos, sir.
Okay.
Can you share the link, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you share the link?
I will show you. It is available. You can just go to the net and get it. I will send you the videos.
Yeah, you share the link.
Actually, I download those videos.
Okay, just you can.
Those are downloaded there with me.
It's excellent.
They're interesting. One video will tell so many things. Especially the teamwork is so extraordinarily important.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Very nice, Dr. Subbarao garu.
Good evening, sir.
Very nice meeting you, my friend.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sonu Bhatia from New Delhi.
Okay.
Sir, you spoke very well and the session was really very interesting.
Okay.
I really enjoyed a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. You are from which institute?
Sir, I was working in Shivaji College, Delhi. Now I left job for my kid. Now I am not working anywhere.
Okay. Wonderful. Very nice.
I'm basically from New Delhi.
Okay, very good. I addressed at GS Indraprastha University once. Yes. It is such a wonderful group. I enjoyed sharing my knowledge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Okay,
so
okay.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody? Okay, sir.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Is there
Sir,
anybody?
yes, please. Hello, hello.
The feedback link is not open.
Okay, okay, we'll share it tomorrow. Okay. So first of all, any doubts about the session of this?
YouTube, I opened and showed that video. I showed that YouTube.
Any doubts regarding this session? That means please interact with our sir, Dr. K.V. Subbaraju garu, if you have any queries right now. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
I
Thank
thank
you.
Dr.
Thank you.
I thank Dr. K.V. Subbaraju garu for readily accepting our invitation and sharing your knowledge, which was an informative session, sir. I also thank you for your motivating, enlightening, and entertaining presentation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So next, hope the first day is full of knowledge and everybody got an insight about innovative teaching and learning methods. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, once again. So thank you all participants for cooperating. So last 2 hours, you are spent a lot of time with us. Tomorrow, the session will start at 4 o'clock. At 4 p.m. The feedback link is also sent at that time. At the end of the tomorrow's session, both the day 1 and day 2 feedback links, that there you will submit the both days feedback links. Sir. So thank you very much, sir. Okay, the session is closed now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, next, the main criteria of the e-participation. The main criteria of the e-certification is e-certificates will be provided to those participants only who attend all the program sessions with more than 80% of attendance. That is very important criteria for e-certifications. So please attend all the sessions for all the times. Thank you. Thank
Hello,
you
sir.
for this.
Hello.
Yeah.
Today
Tell me.
feedback link not open. I will try.
Yes. That's will rectify. Definitely, I will rectify that one for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll send both days feedback links.
Okay, sir.
Tomorrow you can submit.
Okay.
2 days also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Shall we close today? Thank you very much. Thank you, participants. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You can submit today's feedback link tomorrow. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
నాగరాజు రికార్డ్ చేశారు నాగరాజు గారు?
Sir, recording, sir. I'll send the recordings also, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nagaraj sir.
Sir, tell me.
అది కోఆర్డినేటర్ ఒకసారి హోల్డ్ ఉండమని చెప్పండి ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోయింది.
ఓకే, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి కలుద్దాం 5 minutes తర్వాత. ఇది క్లోజ్ చేద్దాం. సార్, డాక్టర్ పివి రామరాజ్ గారు, shall I close this one? Sir Ramaraju, sir. Okay, we'll meet after 5 minutes. Thank you all once again.